Hi there, crafters! This is Verenicce from tweetcrafts.com. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I would like to share with you guys the second installment of a mini-series that I'm doing that is Easter-related crafts. I'm calling my mini-series Easter in Bloom. The project that I'm sharing with you guys today is this one right here. Now this is my berry basket. It is my version of an Easter basket. Now the project that I did previously, it's not just geared towards kids, but this one I wanted to create something that's just for an adult. So you can give it to the honey bunny in your life. So let me show you guys how to create this really neat project. Now what you guys will need is an 8x8 piece of paper. Now this is a regular size cardstock which measures 11 by 8.5, and I'm going to trim it and I'm going to use some of the pieces that I trim off for the basket. With the long side on top, I'm going to trim my piece of paper at 8.5, so it's perfectly square. Alright, and before I take my trimmer off, I'm going to cut the pieces off this little piece of paper right here. This is the leftover piece, and I'm going to cut 2 1/2-inch strips. And this is going to be used as the border on the very top. Those pieces are for this piece right here. It's a little border. This is actually the part that holds the basket in place. Now what we need to do is do some scoring. And we're going to grab our piece of paper, and it doesn't really matter which side because it's perfectly square. So it doesn't really matter which side you start on, but we're going to score it at the 2.5-inch mark all the way around. 2.5. And just all the way around so you hit all 4 corners. Alright, and before I put my scoreboard away, what I'm going to do is also score these small pieces right here. So you're going to score it at the 1-inch mark and the 4 7/8, which is this one right here, this line, on both of the pieces of papers. Now I'm going to burnish my score lines. And then we're going to be doing some cutting. And it's really simple to make. I wanted very little in case I wanted to do several for my sisters, or if you guys have coworkers. Me, it's mostly my sisters. I have 6 sisters. So in case I wanted to give them all something, wanted to make it easy. Now what we're going to do is, if you see here, now that it's scored, you have little squares on either end. These pieces are the ones that are going to come off. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You can just cut away. Now these little squares, you can save them in your scrap pile and use them for something else. You know, they're perfect squares, so they could be used for several other things. So then you're left with this little piece right here. It's like a little cross. Alright, make sure to burnish your score lines on the thin piece. Now we're going to go ahead and put these guys together. Now what you're going to do is create a square, and you're going to do the small edges to the long piece and the same on this side, this small edge to the long side. So I'm going to use glue dots to stick it together. I find that glue dots hold a lot easier. They're a lot easier to work with in general. So I'm going to add 2, and I accidentally put it on the wrong side. It's okay, we'll just fold it the other way. Alright, so see the mini glue dots right there? Alright, you're going to add it to your piece of paper. You're going to marry it up like that. So the short piece is on the bottom. So this part goes on the inside. Okay, now it's the same for the other side. And because I accidentally glued it on the wrong way, I'm going to have to fold it the other way. You're just going to put that on the inside. So grab some mini glue dots and then just marry it up. Put it on the inside and it should measure out perfectly. All right, and we have a perfect little square. Now what you're going to do with your little cross piece, you're going to face it down and then put this in on top of it. You can do it the other way around, but I don't like fighting with all the little arms. Now I'm going to be doing some stapling, and I'm just using a regular size staple. Now I'm not sure if you can notice, but there's going to be a slight gap on either side, and that's the way it's supposed to be. If you guys have ever seen a berry basket, that's the way it is, and I just love that. So I wanted to make sure to add that to my little basket when I made it. Oops. Now I'm fighting with the arms. And I'm going to do the opposite side first, so that way I make sure that it's nice and even. So this is the reason why I did it backwards. There we go. Alright, so the same with the other side. Make sure that it's centered and you have an equal distance on either end. And then just do the other side. It's the same. Now, this is really cute because there's so much fruit, so it doesn't have to be strawberries. Now, I'm actually not really good at culinary, so I'm not a very good baker or dessert maker, although I'm very good at eating it. I'm not very good at making them. But I made the chocolate covered strawberries that look like carrots, so I thought it looked perfect in this cute little basket. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and add the embellishments for this. Now what I'm going to use is the Coastal Cabana, and I'm just going to wrap it all the way around, make sure I have enough, and I'm just going to tie a little bow on the corner. I'm not very good at bows. Bows are my bane. Now I did a little bit lower, and then I'm just moving it up, and then I can just adjust the tension of the bow. So see here, it's a little tight. There it is. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the Petite Petals punch to create my little yellow flower. Now if you see my petite petal, it is slightly going in to give it that effect of a real flower. Now the way I did that is I just get some regular craft foam, you know, the one the kids use. I did steal theirs, but I needed it, so I just put it there. Then I get a regular Sharpie. Now there's two kinds of Sharpies. This one is the one that has the pen at the end. I find this one works better than a normal Sharpie. You can use a regular Sharpie, but I find this one works better for me. And I just push it down right there in the middle. And there it is. Gives it that cute little effect of a real flower. Right now I'm going to add a little rhinestone to my flower. Alright, and I'm going to set this aside while I do the sentiment. Now the stamp set that I'm going to be using is out of these teeny tiny wishes, and I'm going to be using the Happy Easter. Now this is also available in Clearmount if that fits your fancy. And then I'm going to be using the Daffodil Delight ink set. Now to cut it out, I'm going to use the word window punch. That way I don't have to do any kind of fussy cutting. I just pop that right off. And I'm going to angle it just a bit, so that way when I stick it to my box, it fits nicely. Now I'm going to use a mini glue dot and stick my flower to my sentiment. Okay, to stick my sentiment and flower to my box, I'm going to be using a dimensional. And the reason why I'm using a dimensional is so it sticks out a little bit further from the bow. It doesn't lay flat. Or else it'll be a very squash flower. Alright, and then I'm just going to go ahead and stick it. It's all done and ready to get filled. Isn't it just sweet? Now you can add your chocolate covered strawberries or anything of your choosing for that special some bunny in your life. And I hope you guys enjoyed this craft video. If you guys have any questions or comments, please pop them into the link below and I would love to hear from you. If you guys want to keep up with what Tweet Crafts is up to, please subscribe to our channel. Bye now!